Well, I'm with Simon Minoprio from Innovision Boats. Simon, we're celebrating 10 years of Innovision Boats. How did this all begin?
So I was overseas doing a lot of sailing, and I came across a design called Wally Boats, Wally, and there's this boat I saw in the Med called a Wally Tender, and it was a 40-foot carbon fibre thing that had a plumb bow, and I thought that's pretty impressive. And then after a bottle of wine, I had a light bulb moment and went, shit, this will fix a tin boat. And from that's what gave me the inspiration from where our hull design came from. But the main driver of probably just starting the boat building business or getting into boat building was my mates dared me to build a boat, because I went out on a pontoon boat that a mate of mine's old man had and wasn't very impressed.
So alloy boat as well?
Yeah, it was an alley boat. Yeah, so I wasn't very impressed with its ride, its stability, its ergonomics for fishing, and yeah, so I, after a few beers, voiced my opinion, and my mates were like, if you think you know better, build a boat.
One.
And from there I learned a lot quickly about the boat building industry and what's involved in building a boat. And yeah,
so that first boat was a bit of a challenge, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a lot of a challenge, because the bottom sheets actually aren't developable, and we had to develop a process to form the bow without actually having to roll the sheets and adding a whole chunk of work to it.
So you embarked on this first boat, but you had a particular idea in mind, didn't you? It wasn't going to be a run-of-the-mill aluminium boat.
No, it wasn't at all going to be a run-of-the-mill boat. I didn't think of it from an engineering construction point of view as to what does the hull actually need to look like to be the perfect hull.
Right.
And then we'd work out how to build it. And yeah, that's taken 10 years.
Right.
Yeah.
So the first boat, I mean, I think for the first few boats they were fabricated under contract, weren't they?
Yeah, so the first boat was fabricated in Henderson, and then the next one at GFab down in Tauranga.
Right.
Then I went across to New Plymouth to mate Gary down there. He built 5 boats for me. Then we went to Whangarei, to Tongariro Marine Fab.
Yes.
Luke and Kelly Surin up there.
Okay.
They built me 12 boats, I think. 12, 15 boats, and Luke and Kelly were awesome. They let me in the factory so I could actually work on the boats and actually really start developing the engineering and the construction process.
Because the boats, they have changed over the years, haven't they?
Yeah.
And you've developed the hulls, and you've developed the aesthetics of the boats and all of that over that time.
Yeah. I think a lot of it changed. The changes came about just from understanding the better ways to make a boat out of aluminium.
Right.
And leading up the process, but the last thing I wanted to do was change the aesthetics to the point that everything was just folded and just looked like another tin can. So we needed to keep the aesthetics, and with my background being super yachts, working for alloy yachts, it was hard to focus on what's going to make it cheaper. It was more what's going to make it better.
Right.
Yeah.
So from those fairly modest beginnings, and I think you said to me that you only built one boat the first year that you were in business. Yeah. Now there's 50 odd Innovision boats out there.
Yeah.
Clearly it's grown year by year. Is that how you see it going forward as well?
Yeah. So the first boats were first one was a spec boat, sold it, and the next one was a spec boat, sold it, and then sold a couple more on the back of them.
Right.
But nothing was built for stock, really. It was all just built to order along the way, because I didn't have the funds to grow it. The business has been purely grown out of cash flow.
Right.
Great thing about it, I got no debt, which is good.
Yes.
So yeah, and then we're doing 15, 16 boats a year at the moment, and in our current factory we can grow to the 24 boats. But we've got a reasonably young team. Steve's been with me, my fit-out manager. He's been with me 3.5 years now, and it's the longest place he's ever worked at. Which is, I guess, it means I can't be that bad a boss. They've got another couple of guys who've been with me two years now and stuff. So
it's a relatively new factory you're in, isn't it? It's Rothwell Ave.
The first factory was in Henderson, Keeling Road, where the first boat was built. Right. Which is kind of ironic in a weird kind of way.
Yeah.
And so we're there for just almost 2 years, and then needed some more space. And now we're in Rothwell Ave in Rosedale with 500 square metres.
Good size factory, and you've got 10 staff, I believe, plus yourself?
10 staff plus myself, and with that we can have 5 boats on the go at the time, 2 in fab, 1 at the painters and 2 in fit out.
Okay.
So we can get through a fair bit of work if...
And what's changed for you, Simon, over that time in the way that or the sorts of boats that you're actually building now compared to what you were building 10 years ago?
What's changed is that my clientele is definitely of the upper end of the market. The boats are all, majority of them are all very optimised and
Right.
the specs, have a very high specification, which is cool. The boats, pretty much every boat looks awesome when it comes out of the factory.
And obviously that has impressed the judges at the Hutchwilco Boat Show
Yeah.
in recent years.
Yeah, so in the last 2 years we've got a couple of accolades for the brands, for the boats. We've definitely, one thing I've learnt with the Boat Show Awards, it's about workmanship. It's quality of the work, the quality of the style, the finish of the boats. It'd be nice if they had a test ride, part of it, but that'll take a bit too much time up. And I think the general public need to know that it is about workmanship and quality.
Yeah.
And when you are buying a boat with an award, the boat manufacturer is at the top of the game in the New Zealand industry.
That's right. So yes, 10 years under your belt, Simon. What are your plans for the next 10 years?
Retire? No. No. The next 10 years is to grow the business. We've got our first boat going to Australia next year.
Great.
Which is cool to be giving back to New Zealand, to the GDP. And so we definitely want to start establishing a dealer network over in Australia, or just shipping direct to Aussie, and maybe we have our own facility, our own yards in Australia.
Great.
So we want to grow it at least to 100 boats a year, and I think the potential is definitely there.
Definitely there.
Yeah.
No, it's a worthy thing to be working towards. Well,
Yeah.
we wish you all the best, Simon, with the years ahead, and Innovision boats. I think they are. It's a brand that brings something quite different to the New Zealand market, and we wish you all the success.
Cheers. Thanks, John.
John Akelson from Boating New Zealand. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to see more of these videos, please subscribe to our channel.